in regards to a wife wearing or not wearing the hijab, and can the husband actually force, the wife to wear hijab or anything related to Islam, and will the husband or he says slash father will be held accountable for anything wrong or sin that the wife or the daughter may commit?
Well, the husband, you're asking if the husband is supposed to force his wife to wear hijab?
Yes, or a daughter, or a father forcing the daughter.
It depends on what you mean by force. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ يَصْطَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. Command your family, ahlak, your family, that would include your spouse and would include your child, to pray and be consistent with it, be patient, persevere. So I think that this is as far as as much as we can do. You would continue to exhort, to remind, to preach, to teach, to encourage, to command. But beyond this, I don't know how you would enforce it beyond this. Yes. But the thing is, what you need to do is, you need to also show your displeasure every once in a while. Like, it's not like, why don't you pray? And then like a few months later, I'm not seeing you pray. Why don't you pray? You will have to really show your displeasure. You'll have to really show that this is something that you're concerned for their safety, for their spirituality, for their relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their religious commitment, and that you're also displeased. It is not like you're going to be morbid all the time, but it will not just be an occasional, why don't you pray, or why don't you wear hijab every once in a while.
Yeah. Now, would the father or the husband be held accountable? I mean, even if the daughter or the wife is rebellious in wearing the hijab? Or
I think he would be held accountable if he neglected his obligation to command them to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's as much as he can do. Like, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah does not burden a soul beyond its capacity. Yeah, so I think that if he's doing this and he's doing it sincerely, then he will not be held accountable for what they decide to do.
Jazakallah khair. Our next question is actually directed towards Dr. Brown, and is in particular to, or hadith in particular to, some of the characteristics of women. And this is a particular hadith that's got me in trouble a couple of times, throughout my marriage, and I learned not to use it much. But this is the hadith in regards to the claim that the woman is intellectually inferior to the man, or that the woman is deficient in intellect as well as religion. So a person being fond of the sciences of hadith, can you interpret this hadith or explain this hadith in the best way possible?
Well, I guess first I'll kiss myself goodbye. And so the hadith, it's in Sahih Bukhari and other collections. There's several narrations of it, but the general, some of the context differs. But in generally, right, the Prophet, alayhi salam, he sees a group of women, and he says that they should give money in charity because he's seen that the majority of the people in hellfire are women. And then it also says that you're naqisat aql wa deen. You're deficient in aql, which is sometimes translated as reason, sometimes intellect, sometimes translated as self-restraint, and in religion. Then some of the ladies ask, in what aspect, in what respect are we? So there's different versions, but I'm going to conflate them, right? And one says that, well, is your testimony not equal to half that of a man? And is do you not pray, when you're menstruating? Yes. And then the prophet asks, why are you, why are most of us, or why are the majority of people in hellfire women? And he says, tukthirn al-li'an wa tukthirn al-ashir. You curse a lot and you deny your husband's their due credit, right? So they ask, he says, if your husband is good to you for a long time, but then you see one thing you don't like from him, you say, I've never seen anything good from you. So it's a kind of, these two different reports are sort of, sometimes they're joined together, sometimes they're distinct, as far as I remember. The one part of the hadith is not, I don't think, controversial. People, well, it is controversial. People say, well, why are there more women in hellfire than men? My response to this is, unless there's exactly the same amount of women in hell as there are in men, then there's going to be more than one or the other, and either it's going to be more women or it's going to be more men. You also have to understand what the purpose of this hadith is, that the Prophet ﷺ is speaking to women in a way to motivate them to improve their conduct. So when he speaks to men, he speaks to them about things that motivate their conduct. He says, that there's nothing I've left behind you more dangerous than women. And probably a lot of men right now, like Harvey Weinstein, would say that's correct. Now, it's not women's fault, obviously, but what it means is that men are weak in regard to women. Men's desire and men's egos show themselves and manifest themselves around the issue of sexuality, around the issue of women. So if you take that advice, if you were Harvey Weinstein, you probably would not be in the position you were in, and he's in now. Okay, so that's good advice. Some people might think it's sexist. I think it's him speaking to women in a way that tries to get them to reform aspects of their bad conduct, at least at the time of the Prophet. Maybe today women don't tell their husbands, who are really nice to them all the time, when they see something they don't like, you've never done anything good for me. Or maybe they do, I don't know. This has to be answered by a specialist in this area. The second part about intellect and religion, this part is, people find very disturbing. There's a couple of different options, I guess. If students ask me about this, is one possibility is that, one possibility is the Prophet is being playful. I think this is important, right? When we read hadiths, we're conditioned by the way that we think about the issue. Like when we think about something gender, we get very serious because we're sexism, male chauvinism, et cetera, et cetera. But it may be the case that the Prophet is like being playful because saying naqas aql wa din and then bringing up these two things that are not really examples of insufficiency in intellect and religion. The fact that women don't pray when they're menstruating is not deficiency in religion. So one possibility is this is almost like teasing the women. The other possibility is that, these are just different interpretive possibilities. The other possibility is that just saying women are deficient in intellect and religion, and that's, there's no mystery to it. And then finally, the last possibility, which I think is very interesting from a perspective of study of gender historically, is that aql specifically is like a male construct. So what that means is that, I've always noticed, not that I agree, but I've noticed that when men get together, they will pretty quickly start talking about how unreasonable various women are in their lives. Has anyone ever noticed this? No? just me? Only my friends do this? Okay. I've noticed this is a pattern. I disagree, obviously. But men will always say women are really unreasonable. It's just unreasonable. Why don't they just listen to, my wife came and told me she has a problem. I told her to solve the problem. She still got upset at me, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, if you read books on relationships, like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, they always say women don't want you to be reasonable. They want you to listen. They want to tell you what's wrong with it. They don't want you to solve their problems. They just want you to listen to their problems and vent. Don't try and always be problem solving. So I think one possibility is that this notion of reason or self-restraint is specifically, it's a construct that men talk about, and because human society is patriarchal, right? So all human societies that we know of in history have been patriarchies. There's been no matriarchies, just this Wonder Woman island. I didn't see the movie, but so because the terms of discourse, because our language is set by men, that male constructs become seen as kind of dominant constructs, and so. In this sense, a woman being deficient in aql is like a man saying, you're not like a man. But obviously she's not like a man because she's not a man. So, that's another possibility. But I think that, to be honest, I've never, like Ibn Hajar says about one hadith in the Sahih Bukhari, ما وجدت ما يزيل هذا الإشكال حتى الآن. I haven't found an understanding of this that would be somehow remove all the doubts and the confusion about it. Until those are just different perspectives on it.